The noose bit into my neck like a lover's lie, tight and unforgiving. The cheap motel room spinning into a blur of faded wallpaper and regret. I'd hung there for what felt like an eternity, but was probably just minutes. My last thought a venomous whisper. They'll burn for this. Then, nothing black. Endless. The kind of void that swallows screams. But death, it turns out, is just another glitch in the system. Because when my eyes snapped open, it wasn't to the pulley gates or the devil's handshake. It was to the sterile hum of my alarm clock in 2015. My body young again. My hands steady on the steering wheel of a Honda Civic that hadn't rusted out yet. I was driving to work. The same commute I'd done for 7 years by then. Interstate 95 clogged with Jersey assholes honking like it was their God-given right. My heart hammered not from the rope's ghost, but from the impossible truth crashing over me like a tidal wave. I was back. Before the final betrayal. Before the boardroom ambush that stripped me of everything. Everly Kane. 45 and broken in one life. 38 and whole in this one. The date on the dashboard clock confirmed it. October 15th. 2015. 6 months before they'd restructure me out the door after 22 years at Apex Dynamics. The defense contractor that built the invisible backbone of America's war machine. I'd coded their crown jewel. The Sentinel Protocol, a proprietary AI that could reboot entire satellite networks in a blackout. And those bastards fired me without a second thought, not knowing I was the only soul alive who could resurrect it if it ever flatlined. The shock hit like whiplash. I pulled over on the shoulder, gravel crunching under the tires, and dry heaved into the ditch. Cars whipped by, their drivers oblivious to the woman unraveling in a beat-up sedan. This is real, I thought, fingers digging into the worn leather of the wheel. I died in 2027, 2 years after the layoff that shattered me, unemployed, blackballed in the industry. My marriage a casualty of the endless job hunts and bar tabs. Tom had walked out with the dog and half the savings, muttering about my paranoia. Paranoia? I'd uncovered their rot. Apex skimming Pentagon contracts. Burying defective code that could have cost lives in drone strikes. But who listens to the has-been sysadmin? No one. So I'd swung from that beam, a quiet exit for a loud life wasted. Now I had a second shot. Not for redemption, for reckoning. Those motherfuckers, starting with Harlan Voss, my silver-tongued VP who'd smiled while signing my pink slip, were going to choke on their own ambition. I'd played a long game, burrow back in like a Trojan horse, and when the time came, I'd pull the plug on their empire. But first, I had to act normal. Blend in. The old Everly Kane, loyal cog in the machine, hiding the storm behind a coffee-stained smile. I eased back onto the highway, the skyline of Newark rising like a jagged promise. Apex's headquarters loomed in the distance, a glass monolith etched with the Stars and Stripes logo, all patriotic bullshit masking the greed inside. I'd started there in 2005, fresh out of Rutgers with a comp sci degree and stars in my eyes. Back then, it was about building something unbreakable, networks that kept SEAL teams linked in the Hindu Kush, firewalls that laughed at Chinese hackers. I climbed fast, junior dev to lead architect, marrying my work to Tom in the process. He was a sales guy at a pharma firm, steady as they come, but even he didn't know the half of what I poured into Sentinel. It wasn't just code, it was my soul, woven line by line into a system that could fail over a nation's defenses in under 90 seconds. By 2015, though, the shine had dulled. Harlan Voss had slithered in from Silicon Valley 2 years prior. All TED Talk charisma and disruptor jargon. He was the kind of exec who quoted Sun Tzu in earnings calls while screwing over the rank and file. Under him, Apex ballooned, acquisitions. Stock bumps, but at a cost. Corners cut on testing. Bribes funneled through offshore shells to lock in DoD bids. I'd stumbled on it accidentally in 26. Auditing logs for a glitch. And it cost me everything. Voss painted me as unstable. A disgruntled lush leaking trade secrets to competitors. The severance was a joke, 3 months' pay, and a non-disparage clause that gagged me till I was blue. But this time, I'd document every dirty dime. I'd whisper doubts into the right ears. Sow chaos without a fingerprint. And when Sentinel went dark, because I'd make damn sure it did, they'd come crawling. Begging the ghost they thought they'd buried. I parked in the employee lot, the chill October wind whipping my trench coat like a flag of surrender. No, surrender? Fuck that. This was camouflage. I grabbed my laptop bag, the weight of it grounding me, and strode through the revolving doors. The lobby buzzed with the usual morning ritual, suits tapping Blackberries. It was still 2015. After all. The barista slinging overpriced lattes. Security nodding me through with a scanner beep. My badge photo stared back from the screen, me at 38. Hair in a no-nonsense bob. Eyes bright with the fire they hadn't yet snuffed. Elevator up to the 14th floor. Ding. Out into the open-plan warren of cubicles. Fluorescent hum and the clatter of keyboards like a digital heartbeat. My desk waited, piled with printouts and a wilting ficus Tom had insisted on. To keep you human, he joked. Human. Right. I dropped into my chair, booted up the ancient Dell Tower, pre-Windows 10. God. The Dark Ages, and logged in. The Sentinel dashboard flickered to life. Green metrics pulsing steady. Hello. Old friend. I thought. We're gonna make them pay. First order of business, coffee. I hit the break room, where the morning gossip mill churned. There was Mia, my cubicle neighbor, a whip-smart analyst with a nose for bullshit. She'd been my one ally in the end, slipping me job leads after the axe fell. Everly, you look like you saw a ghost, she said, handing over a mug. Her laugh was easy, but her eyes sharp, always scanning. Just traffic, I lied. Sipping the bitter brew. What's the word? Voss still on his victory lap. She leaned in, voice dropping. Big merger talk. Apex swallowing up that startup in Austin, Quantum Shield or whatever. Harlan's pitching it to the board today. Says it'll triple our DoD footprint. Quantum Shield. The name hit like a gut punch. In my old life, that merger was the spark, Voss's play to bury his embezzlement under a bloated balance sheet. It tanked in 27 when audits revealed the rot, but not before he'd cashed out millions. I'd been collateral, scapegoated for the integration failures I'd warned against. Tripling footprints, I echoed, forcing a grin. Sounds like someone's angling for that corner office. Mia snorted. You know it. But word is, they're auditing the legacy systems first. Sentinel's on the list, your baby. My grip tightened on the mug. Perfect. The audit was the thin end of the wedge. In 6 months, it'd morph into efficiencies, then layoffs. Me first, the keeper of the keys, because Voss couldn't risk me spotting his shell games. I spent the morning buried in code, eyes flicking between terminals. Surface-level tweaks, optimizing failover scripts. Nothing flashy. But underneath, I started the seeds. A hidden log file, time-stamped innocuous, capturing every admin access to the offshore accounts. Voss's digital fingerprints, waiting to be dusted. Lunch was a solo affair in the cafeteria. Rubbery turkey on rye. The kind of slop that fueled grudges. I watched Harlan across the room, holding court with the exec pack. Tall, patrician, with that blow-dried coif and a laugh like polished gravel. He was regaling them with some anecdote, probably about outmaneuvering regulators. You charming snake, I thought. Enjoy it while it lasts. Back at my desk, an email pinged, meeting invite from HR. Performance review prep. My blood ran cold, then hot. It was early, too early. But no, this was just the quarterly check-in, the prelude to the symphony of sabotage. I accepted. Pulse steady now. Control. That's what I had this time. By 5, the office thinned out. The exodus to happy hours and minivans. I stayed late. As always, the lone sentinel in a sea of empty chairs. Tom's text buzzed my flip phone. Dinner? Pasta. A reminder of the life I could still salvage. Not yet, I replied. Work crunch. Lies built empires. After all, as the sun dipped, casting long shadows across the monitors, I pulled up the Sentinel core. One line of code. Innocuous. A backdoor. Keyed to my biometrics only. If the system ever needed a hard reset, say, during a catastrophic failure, it'd demand my vein scan. Voss thought he owned it. He didn't know I'd buried the failsafe deep. A wedding gift to my creation. I logged out, shoulders loosening for the first time that day. Step 1, complete. The war had begun, quiet as a whisper in the wires. But as I rode the elevator down, a flicker of doubt wormed in. What if I changed too much? Saved myself, but doomed others? Mia's face flashed. Her pink slip came months after mine. Cancer bills piling up with no insurance. No. I shoved it down. Mercy was for the first life. This one, it was scorched earth. Outside. The parking lot lights buzzed to life. Sodium glow painting everything orange. I slid into the Civic, engine coughing like an old smoker, and peeled out. Home was a split level in Edison. Mortgage half paid, dreams half broken. Tom would be in the kitchen, sleeves rolled, stirring sauce with that boyish grin. Rough day, he'd ask. Yeah, I'd say, kissing his cheek. The usual. But inside, the gears turned. Harlan Voss. Quantum shield. The audit. I'd accelerate it all, leak just enough to spook the board, make Voss sweat his bonuses. And when the merger hit, I'd be the ghost in the machine, unraveling threads until the whole tapestry burned. That night, as Tom snored beside me, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. The rope's phantom itch lingered on my throat, a reminder sharper than any knife. They took 22 years. I vowed silently. I'll take their legacy. Little did I know, the first crack in my armor was already forming, not from Voss, but from the man I loved, the one who'd betray me in ways I hadn't remembered yet. The next few weeks blurred into a calculated grind, each day a brick in the wall I'd build around Apex's throat. Morning started with Tom's coffee, strong, black, the way he knew I liked it, and his easy chatter about client wins or weekend hikes. You're glowing lately, Ev, he'd say, brushing a kiss across my temple. Glowing? More like smoldering. The kind of heat that presaged a 5-alarm blaze. I smiled, murmured agreements. But my mind was already miles away, plotting vectors through code and conversation. At the office, I played the part flawlessly, the dedicated Everly, sleeves rolled up, diving into the audit prep with feigned enthusiasm. Sentinels rock solid, I'd assure the junior devs during stand-ups. My voice steady as a metronome. But let's stress test those failover nodes. Harlan's merger won't tolerate weak links. They nodded, scribbling notes, oblivious to the subtext. The tests would fail. Subtly. Engineered glitches that'd flag anomalies in the offshore integrations. Nothing traceable to me. Just enough smoke to choke the deal. Harlan noticed. Of course. He had a shark's nose for ambition. And mine smelled like fresh chum. One Tuesday, he cornered me in the copy room, his cologne a cloying cloud of entitlement.
Kane.
Digging deep on the legacy stuff. Good initiative. Board loves proactive. His smile was all teeth. Eyes appraising me like livestock. Just doing my job. Harlan, I replied, stapling reports with a click that echoed my restraint. Quantum Shield's got proprietary quirks. Don't want any nasty surprises. He chuckled. Low and knowing. Surprises are my middle name. Keep it up. Might have a spot for you on the integration team. A spot. In my old life, that spot was the velvet noose. Overtime for peanuts. Blame when it imploded. This time, I'd take it. Burrow deeper into the viper's nest. By month's end, the whispers started. Emails from compliance. Flagged transactions I'd accidentally surfaced in logs. Voss's shell company, innocuous name like Pacific Rim Ventures, pops up in a routine query, tied to a $2 mill wire that smelled fishy. I forwarded it anonymously to Mia, with a nudge. FYI looks off. CC the auditors. She bit. Her reply a flurry of emojis and holy shit. Ev, you're a wizard. The heat built. Harlan's meetings stretched longer. His laugh edgier. I caught him in the hall one afternoon, barking into his cell. No. God damn it. Bury it deeper, Pentagon sniffing. Buried it would stay. Until I unearthed it at the 11th hour. Home was my anchor. Or so I told myself. Tom and I fell into old rhythms, date nights at that Italian joint in New Brunswick, where the Chianti flowed and his hand found mine across checkered cloth. You've got that fire back, he said one night, candlelight dancing in his eyes. Like when we met. I squeezed his fingers, guilt a fleeting shadow. Life's too short not to fight for what matters. He didn't know the half, how I'd replayed our endgame in the void, his affair with a yoga instructor, confessed over divorce papers, blamed on my obsession with work. Obsession? Try survival. But this time, I'd rewrite that script too. Be present. Be better. Or so I planned. Then came the first fracture. A late night at the office. Rain lashing the windows like accusations. I'd just patched a bug in Sentinel, a deliberate backdoor to siphon data on Voss's trades, when my desk phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Voice clipped. Kane. Everly. The voice was smooth. Accented faintly. Russian? We hear you're stirring pots at Apex. My blood iced. Hackers? Competitors? Who the hell is this? A pause. Then a chuckle. Call me Dmitri. Friend of a friend. Your little log scrapes? Impressive. But careful, Harlan's not the only one watching.
Click. Dead air.
I sat frozen, pulse thundering.
How?
The logs were encrypted, firewalled.
Unless. No.
Paranoia from the old life creeping in. I shook it off, but sleep evaded me that night. Tom's snores a distant comfort. The audit ramped up, turning the 14th floor into a pressure cooker. Execs from Quantum Shield jetted in, slick Austin tech bros with man buns and disruptor pitches. Harlan paraded them like trophies. Lunches at Ruth's Chris, where the stakes ran redder than the ink in Apex's books. I was invited once, as technical liaison, sitting silent while they bullshitted about synergies. One of them, a kid named Tyler with tattoos peeking from his cuffs, eyed me curiously. Heard you built Sentinel from scratch. That's baller. Baller pays the bills, I quipped, forking into my fillet. Harlan shot me a look, easy. Tiger, but Tyler laughed, pulling me into sidebar on failover protocols. He was green, idealistic, the kind who thought code could save the world. Poor bastard, I thought. In the old timeline, Quantum folded post-merger, his startup dreams crushed under Apex's boot. That night, buzzed on Cabernet, I emailed him from my personal Gmail, anonymized snippets of the offshore wires, flagged as concerns for due diligence. Food for thought. I wrote. Ask questions. Seed planted. Let the brothers unravel their own due diligence. Voss retaliated subtly. My performance review came early, exceeds expectations, but toned down the zeal. Team player. Everly. Translation, back off. Or else. I nodded through it, all wide-eyed compliance, but inside, I was mapping his downfall. A deeper dive revealed the secret. Not just skimming, but collusion. Voss and a Pentagon liaison, Colonel Reyes, trading favors for kickbacks. Reyes greenlit faulty drone specs, code-eyed flagged years back, leading to that 19 strike in Yemen. Civilian casualties buried in classified reports. I'd read the redacted files in 26. The guilt a lead weight. My code killed innocents. No, their greed did. But the stain lingered. This knowledge was my Excalibur. Sharp and double-edged. Leak it wrong, and I'd tank with the ship. But timed right, it'd gut them all. Tension crested mid-November. A Friday freakout. Sentinel glitched during a sim run, my engineered hiccup freezing the demo for the quantum suits. Harlan's face purpled as the room went silent. Tyler's bros exchanging glances. What the fuck? Kane, Voss hissed post-mortem, cornering me in his glass-walled office. Unknown variable. I lied coolly.
Palms dry.
Integration artifact. I'll isolate it. You'd better. This merger's my ticket, our ticket. His eyes bored in, probing. For a heartbeat, I saw the real him, desperate, cornered, the charm cracking. Understood. I turned to go, pausing at the door. Harlan, whatever you're hiding in those Pacific Rim transfers, it won't stay buried forever. His laugh was forced. Paranoid much?
Get some rest.
I did, sort of. Home to Tom, who sensed the storm. Babe, you're wired.
Talk to me.
I almost did, spilled it all. The reset. The revenge. But the word stuck. Just work. Harlan's on a tear. He pulled me close. Strong arms a bulwark. Screw him. You're the best damn coder they got. If only you knew. We made love that night. Urgent and reclaiming. But dawn brought clarity. Tom was my blind spot. In the old life, his betrayal stung worst because it was personal. Was it already seated here? A glance at his phone during breakfast. No suspicious texts.
Yet.
Monday brought escalation. Mia burst into my cube, face ashen.
Ev.
You see the news? Quantum CEO just resigned. Scandal with some Austin land deal. My heart leaped. My leak landed. No shit. Timing suspect. She nodded, whispering, and Harlan's in with legal. All day.
Good.
Let the rats scurry. But Dmitri called again that afternoon. Voice silkier. Nice work with the boys from Texas. Voss is sweating. Want in on the real play? Who are you? I demanded. Cubicle walls closing in. Someone who hates cheats. Apex stole from us once. IP theft.
12.
Now, we balance books.
A beat.
Meet me. Neutral ground. Liberty State Park.
Dusk.
I should have hung up. Reported it. But curiosity, or was it the void's echo, won.
Fine.
But if this is a setup, wouldn't dream.
Click.
Dusk in the park. Ferries horn blaring across the harbor. Lady Liberty mocking with her torch. Dmitri was ex-KGB build. Trench coat and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Russian mob? Freelance? Everly Kane, he greeted, extending a gloved hand. The ghost who haunts Harlan's dreams. We walked the paths. Leaves crunching underfoot. He laid it out. Apex had ripped off his syndicate's cyber firm years back. Fencing tech to the DoD.
Now.
With the merger wobbling. They wanted payback, data dumps. Insider sabotage. You lead. We follow. 50-50 on the spoils.
Spoils. Money?
Chaos? It reeked of the gray I'd sworn off. I'm not a criminal. Dmitri. He shrugged. Harlan is. Question is, are you his mirror? I walked away, head spinning, but his card burned in my pocket. Ally or accelerant? The line blurred. That choice haunted me home, where Tom waited with takeout and a question. Ev, you okay? You've been distant.
Fine. Ilid. Forking Lomain.
But as we ate, his phone buzzed, a text from Jen Yoga. Miss our sessions. Drink soon? My fork paused.
Yen.
The instructor. It started here, innocuous. Then incendiary. Rage flickered. Hot and unbidden. Not yet. I thought. One war at a time. But the fires were merging, personal and professional. And I was the spark. December clawed in with a vengeance, bitter winds off the Hudson. Holiday lights strung like nooses across the Apex atrium. The merger teetered. Quantum's due diligence sniffing too close to Voss's skeletons. Board meetings bled into all-nighters. Harlan's charm fraying into barked orders. Kane, where's that goddamn report? He'd snap over email chains, CCing half the C-suite.
Ide dalibe.
Pristine and laced with poison, footnotes on discrepant fund flows, appendices citing regs he couldn't dodge. Mia became my unwitting amplifier. Her analyst reports echoing my findings.
Ev.
You're on fire, she gushed one lunch. Picking at a salad. Harlan's losing his shit, blames everyone but the mirror. Let him, I said, dipping a fry in ketchup. Truth outs eventually. She eyed me sideways.
You sound different.
Like you've seen the endgame. If only. Just tired of the games. Post-lunch, Dimitri's shadow loomed larger. His text pinged my burner phone, procured it, prodding for a meet. I resisted, but the allure gnawed. Solo revenge was surgical. With him, it'd be a blitzkrieg. Tempting. When Voss escalated, my access levels trimmed. For security, a warning shot. I countered by escalating the glitches, Sentinel sims crashing mid-demo. Phantom errors tracing to Quantum's code. Tyler texted me direct. WTF, is Apex hiding? Our team spooked. Everything, I replied.
Day deeper.
Tom's drift accelerated too. A parallel unraveling. Yoga nights stretched to twice weekly. His alibis thin as rice paper. I tailed him once, pathetic. Crouched in the Civic 2 blocks from the studio. Watching him laugh with Jen over downward dogs.
No keys.
No clutch. But the spark was there. Embers of the affair I'd endured.
Confront. No levity.
I snapped photos. Timestamps etched like scars. Ammo for later. When the home front ignited. Christmas loomed. A farce of eggnog and forced cheer. Apex's party was at the Marriott. Open bar and a DJ spinning top 40 slop. I dressed sharp. Black sheath. Heels that clicked like countdowns, Tom at my side. Handsome in a rented tux. You look killer, he murmured. Arm around my waist. You have no idea. Harlan held court by the tree.
Elf hat askef.
Toasting our Apex family. I sipped champagne. Eyes locked on him across the room. When he approached, inevitable. Schmoozing the talent, I played coy. Merry merger. Harlan. Quantum still biting. His jaw ticked. Hiccups. Nothing your wizardry can't fix. A pause. Eyes narrowing. Speaking of odd chatter from legal. Old wire surfacing. You wouldn't know, would you? Innocent blink. Me?
Nah.
But if it's dirty, better it bubbles up now. He leaned in, breath boozy. Careful. Everly. Loyalty's a two-way street. Burn in hell. Always is. Tom pulled me to the dance floor, then spinning me under the lights. For a moment, suspension, his hand warm on my back. The bass thrum. I love you, he whispered. Unprompted. The words landed like shrapnel. Love you too. Truth. Tangled with fury. As we swayed, Dimitri's card itched in my clutch. Decision time. New Year's Eve. I met him. Snow-dusted benches in Branch Brook Park.
New York's cherry blossoms bare skeletons.
He arrived bundled. Thermos of vodka steaming. Resolutions. MS. Cane. Ruins. I handed over a thumb drive, Sentinel's diagnostic logs. Redacted to implicate Voss without fingering me. This crashes their demo next week. Your move after. He pocketed it, eyes gleaming. Partners.
Then. Wide instructions incoming.
We got Apex. Split the insurance, payouts. Partners, I echoed. The word ash on my tongue. Mob ties? Felony territory? The controversy churned me. The whistleblower turned wrecker. But Harlan's crimes dwarfed it. Lives lost to bad code. Taxpayer billions laundered. Eye for an eye. January thawed the merger into farce. The Quantum demo, Voss's Hail Mary, tanked spectacularly. Sentinel locked up. Screens blinking to error codes I'd scripted. Integrity breach detected. The boardroom erupted. Suits yelling. Harlan's face a rictus. Tyler's team bolted mid-pitch. Merger DOA. Whispers flew. Sabotage?
Hack.
I feigned horror, isolating the vector, while internally toasting. Fallout hit like a nor'easter. Layoff rumors swirled, but Voss clawed back, blaming external actors.
He summoned me to his office.
Door ajar for witnesses. Everly. Your lead on the forensics. Find the breach, or heads roll. Consider it done, I said, masking triumph. Forensics meant full access, his emails. Unredacted. Jackpot. Tom confronted me that night. Eyes stormy over meatloaf.
Ev.
What's with the burner phone? And the late calls?
Caught.
I set down my fork. Stealing. Work shit. Harlan's paranoid. Thinks we're hacked. He deflated. But suspicion lingered. You're changing. Distant. Like you're fighting ghosts.
Spot on.
It's stress. The merger's killing me. We argued. First real one in months. Words like barbs. My hours. His yoga escapes. He stormed out.
Toyenes.
I knew. I didn't follow. Instead, I cracked the drive Dimitri sent. Payouts wired to Cayman shells. My cut, $250,000. Blood money. But it'd fund the exodus. By mid-month, the noose tightened on Voss. Colonel Reyes surfaced in logs, emails plotting the drone fudges. I leaked to a Post reporter. Anonymous drop at a diner, docs. Timelines. The Yemen dead. Headline hit like a bomb. Pentagon scandal. Contractor collusion in civilian strikes. Apex stock plunged 18%. Harlan's fortress cracked. FBI inquiries. Board ousters. He called me in. Wild-eyed.
You.
This is you. Isn't it? The logs. The glitches. Proof. I leaned forward. Voice ice. Or just a desperate man lashing out? He lunged, hand clamping my wrist. Breath ragged. I made you.
Kane.
22 years. And you repay with this. You broke me. The words slipped.
Raw.
His eyes widened. Recognition?
No.
Just rage. Security hauled him off. Incident report filed. I walked out. Free air hitting like absolution. But the twist gutted me that night.
Tom's laptop.
Left open in his haste. Emails to Jen. Months old. I can't do this anymore. Ev's obsessed work. Secrets. Need you. Dated October, the reset month. He'd been plotting before my death. Before the firing. The betrayal? Deeper. Foundational. I confronted him at dawn. Printouts fanned like cards. How long? Tom. His face crumpled.
Ev.
I was lost. You were always gone. Lies. I tossed them. Voice breaking. We end this. Divorce papers drawn by week's end. He begged. But the fire in me, rekindled, burned him out. Apex imploded. Voss indicted. Reyes resigning in disgrace. Sentinel? I resigned too. Buyout fat. The backdoor my parting gift. Dimitri's wire cleared. I vanished it into a trust. Yet victory tasted hollow. The controversy raged, me painted as hero or hacker in op-eds. Was it worth it? Nights alone in the Edison house. Ghosts whispered yes. Then, the call, Mia. Voice trembling. Ev, FBI here. Asking about you and some Russian. Dmitri. The Alliance. My Achilles. Panic surged.
Idę torka apaks.
But the flames licked back. February's chills seeped into my bones like regret. The empty house echoing with Tom's absence, his razor gone from the sink, his side of the closet a void. I'd won the war. Or so the headline screamed. Apex execs fall in bribery bust. Whistleblower hails, courageous anonymous. Voss in cuffs on the Post front page. Reyes testifying before Congress. The drone scandal unraveling like cheap yarn. Apex splintered. Assets auctioned. Stock a penny confetti. Sentinel? Nationalized. My code scrubbed clean for a new era. They'd never know the ghost who'd pulled the strings. But ghosts don't sleep easy. Dimitri's shadow lengthened. His text a siren's call, cleanup time. Loose ends. I'd ghosted him post-wire. But loose ends had a way of nodding back. Mia's warning rang true, Fed circling. Her subpoena a polite chat that smelled like interrogation. I lawyered up. A shark from Newark named Sal who billed like a mobster, but fought dirtier. Plausible deniability, he grunted over espresso. You were a concerned employee. Logs? Public domain hacks. Russian? Never heard of him. Plausible. That's what I'd banked on, the gray zone where whistleblowers danced with wreckers. The controversy boiled. Fox called me a patriot. MSNBC a vigilante. Protests outside the old Apex Tower, vets demanding justice for Yemen. Techies chanting code for the people. I watched from a diner booth. Incognito in a Red Sox cap. Nursing coffee gone cold. This is what you wrought. I thought.
Chaos.
Yes, but catharsis too. The rope's itch faded, replaced by a fierce, fragile peace. Tom's divorce depots loomed, a personal Armageddon. He showed at the lawyer's office hollow-eyed. Jen, a rumor now. His sales gig tanking in the recession wake.
Ev. Please. Counseling.
We can fix. Fix. I laughed.
Bitter.
You checked out before I died, twice. The slip hung. His brow furrowing. Died? What the hell?
Ev.
Too much. Figure of speech. Point is, we're done. He signed, tears streaking. But as he left, a whisper. Whoever you are now. I miss the old you. The old me. Dead and buried. This one, forged in fire. Sharper for the burn. FBI knock came mid-March. 2 suits at my door. Agent Hale. All Southern drawl. And Ruiz. Stone-faced Latina, with eyes like lasers. MS.
Kane.
Mind a word? Apex matter. Sal flanked me. Urbane shield. Kitchen table confab, coffee poured. Questions lobbed. Heard of Dmitri Volkov?
News to me. I lied. Palms dry.
Logs traced to your IP brief window. But there. Office, Wi-Fi sieve. Hackers love it. They pressed. Reyes's flip implicating Voss. Voss raging about that bitch sysadmin. Sal deflected. Citing my exemplary record. They left unsatisfied. But Ruiz's parting shot lingered. Heroes don't run with Russians. MS.
Kane.
Think on that. Run? No, recalibrate. I ditched the house. Subletting a loft in Jersey City, water views. Anonymity. New gig lined up. Remote consult for Boston startup. Clean code for green energy grids. No DoD taint. No Harlan ghosts. Mia visited once. Hugs fierce. You're a legend.
Ev. But. Careful.
Feds don't forget. Neither do I. We toasted with boxed wine. Her cancerous specter she'd beaten early this timeline, my anonymous tip to her doc. Veiled as wellness check. Dimitri surfaced in April. A burner call from God knows where. Betrayal stings.
Duh.
Like old lovers. You played me, I snarled. Feds on my tail. Paranoia.
Partner.
I vanished, new horizons. But a gift, insurance. Coordinates pinged. A Queen's warehouse. Midnight. Against Sal's howl. I went. Armed, pepper spray in my boot. The place reeked of oil and rust. Crates stacked like tombstones. Dimitri waited, flanked by goons, tattooed slabs with dead eyes. Everly, he smiled, gesturing to a laptop on a crate. Watch. Screen flickered, footage. Grainy, Voss in a cell. Ranting to a guard. Kane, she's the one. Tracked her with Volkov. That Russian prick. Set her up from the start. My gut twisted. Setup? Dimitri's chuckle confirmed. Harlan hired me, us, to smoke out leakers.
You bet.
Fed the rope. He planned to pin it all on you post-merger. Double dip, your head. My fee. Twist like a knife. The glitches?
Bait.
The logs? Traced back through his proxies. I'd been the mark. Dancing to their tune. But why show me? Voice steady. Barely. Conscience? Or boredom? He shrugged. Voss pays shit. FBI heat? I flip. Your file's clean now. Walk. The goons parted.
A gauntlet.
I strode out. Spray and used. The night air slap. In the Civic. Sobs came raw.
Purging.
Betrayed again. But alive. They all burn. Sal confirmed. Dimitri's flip sealed Voss tighter. My trails erased in the deal. Feds backed off. Case closed as internal purge. Summer bloomed.
Tentative.
I dated a barista named Alex. Easy laughs over IPAs. No depths yet. Just breaths. The loft filled, bookshelves groaning with Vonnegut. A fern thriving untended. Mia's wedding invite arrived, her to a graphic designer. Me as the savior auntie. Apex's husk sold off. Sentinel reborn under DARPA auspices. I consulted once. Remotely irony thick, ensuring my backdoor died quiet. No resurrections needed. Tom, a postcard from Seattle. Healing. Miss you. Be fierce. I burned it. Ashes to the wind. The void revisited in dreams. Rope. Regret, but dawn brought resolve. I died own. Risen vengeful. And in the scorch. Found absolution. Controversial? Hell yes, wrecker. Hero.
Fool. But mine.
1 year post reset. October again. I stood in Liberty State Park, the meat spots echo. Wind off the harbor. Liberty's torch steady. No Dimitri. No Harlan. Just me. Badge long shredded. Laptop humming with fresh code. They fired me once. Never again. The system restarted on my terms.